Hey guys, and welcome back to the HellfireComms Ghiblithon. Today we're going to be taking a look at what is probably my favourite Ghibli film to date, Spirited Away, and oh, what a cracker it is. Wouldn't you agree, Rich?
It's definitely a cracker, and while it's not necessarily my favourite Ghibli film, it's easily the one that pretty much everyone will say is the iconic Ghibli film.
Yeah, quintessential Ghibli, if you will. So, let's get right on into it. Although I do have to say, just like beforehand, we had to get this off a particular site, so we'll have a site intro on it. Otherwise, the instructions in the video description are basically the same. So, just be aware of that. And we hope you enjoy the commentary. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Okie dokie, Spirited Away. I can't actually remember whether this was the first Ghiblithon film I watched, but it's definitely like the one I watched first to completion, and I think that's a good thing because it got me into Ghibli as a whole, and it's got a lot of great things going for it. It's got a good voice cast. It's one of the more beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Ghibli films in terms of like style and animation, and of course it's got like Japanese lore and shit. You can't go wrong with that.
Definitely not. And really, I would say that Spirited Away probably marks most people's main awareness of anime, because it came out in 2001, and obviously it had the dub that was done by Disney, and it did very well. I mean, it won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature.
Wow.
At the 75th Academy Awards, which, let's just say, anime doesn't tend to get awards at the Academy Awards. That tends to be Pixar and Disney. I mean, admittedly, it was a Disney dub, so it sort of fell into that, but for an anime to achieve that is still majorly impressive, and I think that Spirited Away remains the only Ghibli film to have gotten an Academy Award. Others were robbed of that award. I would say that The Tale of Princess Kaguya totally deserved winning an Oscar, but it did not, unfortunately.
Well, that's a very niche sort of thing, because of, you know, you've got the art style first and foremost, and we'll go into this when we get to The Tale of Princess Kaguya, but it's also very, very Eastern-centric, and, you know,
yes,
the Academy Awards are Western-centric for the most part, so more of that when we actually get to it. Spirited Away follows Chihiro, and it's essentially a tale of growing up, becoming more mature, if not physically, then emotionally, mentally, and maybe a little bit spiritually as well, and it does that very well. It's got a delightful cast of characters, and I can't say enough good things about this, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty damn amazing. It's also on the longer side for a lot of Ghibli films, hitting it like 2 hours and 5 minutes in total. And rather hilariously, during the production of the film, Miyazaki realised that I think the initial cut was going to be over 3 hours long.
Christ!
And decided to cut out several parts of the story in order to, you know, make it a little bit more reasonable. And I do feel that definitely worked out for the best.
If your name ain't Lord of the Rings, there's no way I'm sitting through a 4-hour movie. Sorry.
Definitely not. And also, if your name isn't Lord of the Rings Extended Edition,
oh yeah,
not going to sit through a 3-hour film.
Tiny Stone Man says stop. You must enter the dark void way on foot.
Also, Tiny Stone Man says, why the hell are you driving through a forest at breakneck speed for no apparent reason?
Oh, you know, they're going to their new house. They just want to have a bit of fun.
Well, yeah, but you don't go slightly chaotically through a forest. I mean, like, I was having a bit of a rant about people on the roads to my family earlier, because it was just like, people can't drive. This is a perfect example of it. It's just like, no, do not do that, for the love of God.
I think we were talking about not going down dark alleyways and whatnot in Whisper of the Heart, but she has parental supervision, so I think that's okay.
Yes, but Chihiro's being the smart one here, saying, kinda don't want to go through here, that looks creepy. And it's the parents being completely not idiots, just going, yeah, let's go see what's down here, it'll be an adventure. Yeah, it's potentially going to get you killed, you nut jobs.
They're being pig-headed. Interesting.
And you say, I'm not subtle, Tom.
Yeah, Chihiro may be technically right here, but she is very much a brat for, like, 2/3 of the movie until character development kicks in, so, enjoy that in the meantime. She is voiced by the same person who played Lilo in Lilo and Stitch.
Yes, Davy Chase.
There you go. Let's have that beautiful voice acting trivia.
So obviously the main role that I think most people would recognise Davy Chase from is being the voice of Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, and also being the voice of Chihiro in Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Her other main roles are Rhonda Volmer in the HBO series Big Love, and also being Samara in The Ring and its sequels. Let's see, can I find her parents? There we go. So, her father, Akio, is voiced by Michael Chiklis. I know him. So he has been on American Horror Story in Freak Show. He was also the Thing in the 2000s Fantastic Four films.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's probably the one that I think most people would recognise him from. He's also LAPD detective Vic Mackey in The Shield, which he's won awards for. And he's also been in Gotham as Nathaniel Barnes.
Alright, well, let's not read every roll off. What about the mother?
The mother is voiced... So the mother's called Yuko, and she is voiced by Lauren Holly, who I'm looking at right now, and she looks very much like Cate Blanchett, but is clearly not Cate Blanchett. And she's known for her roles as Deputy Sheriff Maxine Stewart in Picket Fences, director Jenny Shepard in NCIS, and Gigi in What Women Want. I'm just seeing if there's any others that are a little bit more like things that you and I would probably recognise, and it's not looking likely, but that's just one of those things. Sometimes there are actors that you don't know.
I love how ancient feeling everything is on, like, the run-up to the main part of the movie.
Because what it does is it gives you this sense of the history of Japan, because you look at all these structures and it's just like, this is what you imagine of ancient Japan, and it's quite amazing, really. It's one of the reasons why I would love to go to Japan one day, to see these sorts of buildings and all that jazz, because it just seems so beautiful and there's such a history associated with it that it'd just be magical to be there.
This place is looking a lot like Full Sense, actually.
It's looking like Full Sense, but it's much brighter, and therefore I prefer it.
Well, we know your opinions on Diabolical Box, but it was just the train station that put me in mind of the second Lighting game. I just make connections like that. Follow your nose, Daddy. You will find what you're looking for. Huh. What kind of town only has restaurants? That's a very specialty type of place.
I mean, yes, it's a specialty, but it makes sense, because there are often, even in the UK, there are numerous towns which do end up just having an excessive amount of certain types of shops. I mean, the primary one is charity shops. They tend to be quite common in towns.
Yeah.
Cafes is another one. Like, you can go to a town and there are like a gazillion cafes, and you're just like, why? But at least it means you know where you need to go if you want to go to a little cafe for something.
Yeah. No, this is kind of unsettling. Like, all this food is, like, piping hot, well prepared and whatnot, but there's no chef in sight. That would be the first warning bell to go off in my mind.
Yes, it would definitely be a warning sign in my head, and I'd just go, no, I'm not eating that. One, it could be poisoned. 2, it's just incredibly suspicious and might, upset some sort of god, and would not want to get involved with that because that can lead to really awful consequences.
Well, as we'll see shortly. But also, trust the one day I decide to start fasting until the Christmas shop comes, then we get the most Ghibli food imaginable.
Well, of course, and also it's Ghibli food being shoveled into people's mouths, thereby making you think, oh, I'm actually quite hungry, even though I've literally just had dinner.
Well, I had today. I had 3 slices of toast for breakfast, which isn't bad, and I had a few mince pies with a cup of tea this afternoon, that's it.
Yeah, I had cheese and cucumber cobs. Cobs, for those people who are not in the East Midlands, it's like a bread roll type thing.
Yeah, it's just a roll.
It's a cob. We are correct, but most other people will probably call it a bread roll. Crisps, chocolate bar,
okay.
apple,
The standard school
and
pat lunch.
then this evening, burgers, and then a Magnum.
Nice. Magnum obviously is an ice cream. He didn't inhale a gun.
I mean, that would be quite impressive, but I think I'd also probably not be doing commentary right now had I done that.
Yeah. Oh, the bathhouse. Entirely my aesthetic.
God's sake, Tom, why are you spoiling the fact that it's a bathhouse?
I didn't spoil what's inside the bathhouse, thank you very much. See? 2 seconds later, she mentions it. Sure, Richie.
Well, yes, but you see, you've got to wait for these sorts of things so that you can get the... Oh, it's a bathhouse!
Don't test me, Richard. We'll talk about your subtlety and lack thereof later. See, there's gotta be people in a train, unless it's like that dope-ass Disney train that had nobody in it.
I was about to say about the dope-ass Disney train, Thomas.
Yes. That voice sounds really familiar.
So, this lad right here is voiced by Jason Marsden.
Oh, yeah.
Who... I'm just trying to find the things... Oh! He's Max in... he's Max Goof in a Goofy movie and its sequels, and he's also done, obviously, various other voices throughout, but I would say Max is probably the one that most people would recognise him from. Oh, he also did the voice of Noel Chryse in Final Fantasy 13-2.
There you go. Oh my god!
You see, this is what happens when you pig out on food that's not yours. You end up turning into a literal pig.
Yep. Always a price to pay, guys. Don't eat spirit food. Well, this is, traumatizing. Yeah, I think the bathhouse is the only way to go now that the spirits have come out to play.
Well, you'd think that we could also leave this place, but I think Chihiro's... I mean, she's only 10, so she's not really worldly enough to figure out where you could potentially go.
This fucking soundtrack is so goddamn good.
Of course it is. It's Joe Hisaishi. It's going to be glorious.
Oh, he is bae. Oh. Sorry, Chihiro. The only way is forward. There is no going back. Where did the field and everything go, Richie?
It turned into a massive river lake type thing.
Nope, it's not a dream, sorry.
Yeah, you've been spirited away. Roll credits.
She's fading away.
Yes, has she broken something in the time-space continuum? Because this tends to happen, when you go back in time and you change something that you really shouldn't have changed.
Even though it's really meta and it's like about the vanishing animation industry and the character literally dissolves on screen as the company's assets do.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the film did cost quite a pretty penny.
It looks it, honestly.
Oh, yeah. So, production of the film commenced in the year 2000 on a budget of 1.9 billion yen, which is about $15 million, which is actually surprisingly not much, but that's still obviously a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Disney invested 10% of the cost for the right of first refusal for American distribution. And obviously they decided to go with it because of why would you not go forward with this as a film? And obviously it did very well for them because it sold gangbusters and it won them an Academy Award. And, why would you not take something that's going to get you that?
The ghost. So I guess this stops her from fading away. I never did get the significance of the little bauble.
Yeah, basically what this lad said to Chihiro is, if you don't eat something from this world, you will disappear.
Okay.
So he gives her a little berry to make sure that she can remain in this world, but not go and turn into a pig because she's been a gluttonous sod.
Oh. Very menacing.
Very, very, very menacing, and oh my god, that's terrifying. It's a bird with a lady's head.
Yeah, bit of Baba Yaga action going on there.
Yes. And it's funny you should mention Baba, because that is part of her name, obviously.
And use your legs like every other fucking human.
Yeah, but she kind of hurt them, and also they're sort of spirit legs now, and she's not used to walking on spirit legs, so yeah, you kind of have to relearn how to walk with those sorts of things.
Fair enough, mate. I have to appreciate how fast this movie gets to the point. Like, we're not even 20 minutes in and, action already.
Oh god, yeah. Which is surprising that Miyazaki did have such, I think, trouble in reducing the film's length. I mean, part of it doesn't surprise me because the film is relatively filled with stuff going on. But he effectively did have to delete many scenes from the story, and I think the main thing that he tried to do was try to reduce eye candy moments. So, I mean, there's loads of them anyway, but he wanted the film to be simple, so he stripped out any of the really extraneous shots of just a beautiful vista, because it didn't add anything to the plot, and just padded the runtime. And that's annoying, but I'm totally fine with that because, it does just make it much more bearable as a film.
It's a very plot-heavy movie, is Spirited Away. Especially when we were
Oh god, yes.
recording this off the back of My Neighbours the Yamadas. That's fairly creepy.
Yes.
We'll get back to him. Oh, not now, Slippy.
It's always Slippy's fault.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta blow up some ladies' skirts, clearly.
Oh yeah, I gotta remember to buy Okami HD when the next Patreon one comes in.
Yes, Tom, yes you do.
Maybe I'll do that as a quick look for myself.
You definitely should, and then you should beat it, because it's the most beautiful game ever.
I'll beat it like it owes me money, mate.
Maybe don't be that cruel to it, but it might decide to be cruel to you. I don't know. So as long as you treat it right, you will have a delightful time.
Okay.
Basically, what Haku's doing right now is doing what I did to you during the Okami playthrough, was just, telepathically showing you the way in saying you need to buy this game, and this is exactly why, and this is how you do it.
Fair play to you. Like, you played the long game with that one, because Okami is one of our more lengthy playthroughs.
Oh yes, I did indeed play the long game, and fingers crossed, I have also won the long game on a few other playthroughs, which will be starting at some point, and I will be utterly delighted.
No worries, mate, no worries. Interesting. Right, so don't make a sound, keep asking for work once you're inside, and I guess there's a price to pay for actually, becoming one with the spirits. Nothing's for free. Her parents became pigs by eating the food. I guess she became subservient by eating the pellet or whatever.
I don't think it's necessarily becoming subservient. It's more, she's not going to be able to survive in this world if she doesn't get a job here, because the spirits will completely freak out and probably do some awful stuff to her. So in getting a job here, she will be able to keep herself safe and basically pad the time until she can find a way of getting out of here.
Right. And she's got to find her parents as well, and God knows, how she's going to end up fixing them and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely God knows how that's going to happen, and also, those stairs are incredibly steep, and considering there are no railings, this is exactly how I would probably be going down them.
Well, to be fair, this bathhouse seems to be stocked by mostly spirits, so I guess they don't have to worry about any, workplace deaths and whatnot.
Probably not, but I do suspect that they might end up with some rather horrific situations occurring, considering, the nature of spirits.
Oh, yeah.
You could get any sort of spirit and it might not end well.
See, I have this kind of fear of heights, but it's going down a ladder, not a flight of stairs. Although...
Yes, but if that happened, I think you would also be slightly terrified of stairs, would you not?
Whee! Thank God for walls.
Yeah, although I'm pretty sure she would have given herself a massive concussion doing that, because...
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, yes, but momentum, that would just go... Phew, she'd definitely have a bloody nose, I'll tell you that much.
No. This is working on Sonic Force's momentum. You remember classic chemical plant where you smash into a wall and you go straight down?
Yes.
Ugh. Hope you guys are enjoying that playthrough, by the way. It should be nearing its conclusion if it's not already over by the time this commentary goes up.
Fingers crossed.
Hey.
And it's funny you should mention Sonic Forces, because we're about to see Dr. Eggman.
Ah. Yes, you did say the character design sort of would show up again in a later Ghibli movie.
Well, of course.
There he is.
Yes.
Oh, and the little soot creatures from My Neighbor Totoro.
Yes, the little soot sprites. The, Susuwatari.
There you go.
And, yeah, they're adorable. And I think most people associate them with this film, but obviously they did originate in My Neighbor Totoro.
I think they work better here, just contextually.
Yeah, but I suppose with Totoro, they are the initial indication of the slightly more spiritual, supernatural nature of the film, whereas here they do just fit naturally into the whole thing because we're already aware that this place is blooming crazy.
I love how they got their own like little mouse hole cubbies. That's so adorable.
Well, at least it gives them a nice entrance and exit so that they can go through, because otherwise, where are they going to stay?
Thirsty work pumping these boilers.
Although I wouldn't really drink hot water straight out of the kettle. That seems quite dangerous if you ask me. But then I suppose he is a sort of weird spider yokai gentleman. So I suppose he can get away with this sort of stuff.
Well, you made a massive assumption there saying that the water was hot, but whatever. I'm just splitting hairs right now.
While we don't have this gentleman's name fully yet, I can tell you that he is voiced by the delightful David Ogden Stiers.
Yay!
It seems like for the dubs of pretty much most Ghibli, it was just like, right, how can we fit David Ogden Stiers into this film? And they found a way.
Oh yeah, did they ever?
Yeah, unfortunately they couldn't fit Tress MacNeille into this one, but they got David in, so that's good.
Oh, they're adorable.
They are super adorable, although they're sort of like ants in that respect. Like, I'm looking at this and thinking very much of A Bug's Life.
They kind of remind me of those things with the googly eyes that you used to stick on your PC and whatnot.
Yes, definitely. They also sort of remind me of Fuzzies in the Mario franchise, although obviously those guys are just annoying more than anything.
I actually completely forgot that his arms stretched like that. It's kind of disconcerting.
Well, he's a yokai thing, and clearly if they didn't stretch, then he wouldn't be able to do half the stuff that he needs to.
I hope he gets paid well. It's got to be a lot of hard work, like keeping an entire bathhouse nice and heated and whatnot.
I don't think he really gets paid.
Huh.
From what I can tell of this world, because I've totally not watched this film before, it's not built on typical human structures of business, I suppose. And so, there's one element of business that may be at play here. I'm not 100% sure, obviously, because it's been a very long time since I watched the film, but it's certainly not something that most countries would define as legal work, shall we say.
Good luck suing a spirit for, like, I don't know, work misconduct, not paying your workers, union stuff, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But as I said, it's a very long time since I've watched Spirited Away, so I would not be able to tell you the full implications of that.
It's fine, Richie, it's fine. Yeah, this is one of the films that I have actually watched going in to, prior to recording the commentary for it, I should say. And, it's definitely one of my favourites. I can tell you right now, this is going to get an A+ no matter what.
To be honest, that's probably where I'm going to sit with it as well, because it is a very, very good film. But the annoying reason there's a but there is I do feel at times Spirited Away can be a little bit too slow for its own good.
Huh.
And I don't know. For some reason, I do just seriously prefer Howl's Moving Castle.
Well,
And I don't know whether that's because Spirited Away has a few elements that are just really weird. And while they totally fitting, and I do love and appreciate them. I think because House Moving Castle is... It might just be that it's going to sound perhaps... It's not...
Get to the point, Rishi. Come on.
I'm just gonna spit it out. Spirited Away is perhaps... Well, it's very Eastern. House Moving Castle is arguably a lot more Western in terms of its sensibilities. It's very British, because it's, I'm pretty sure, based on I think it's a Welsh novel.
Huh.
So, I think that might be part of the reason why I have a stronger attachment to it.
Okay.
Part of it might also be the song. The main theme is just... It's stuck in my head and it's not leaving. Whereas I don't necessarily remember the music of Spirited Away as much. But it's just umming and ahhing at that point. What does make me happy is that this lady here, Lin, or in the Japanese original dub, Rin, is voiced by the awesome Susan Egan. Most well known for being the voice of Megara in Hercules, the original Broadway Belle, and the voice of Rose Quartz in Steven Universe.
Whoa. Okay, so we're going to go see Barbara, and hopefully Chihiro will get a job. But first she got to be suited and booted for the role. Those look like Starbits, those little candies, which are an actual Japanese candy, I believe.
I know. Part of me sort of wishes when Super Mario Galaxy came out that they had... sold Starbits, because that would have been like a proper full-on good marketing opportunity. Apart from, the whole thing of it's just a bunch of sugar, and families probably would have gone, why the hell is Nintendo trying to sell my kids more sugar?
Well...
But I do think that kids would have been like, oh, I want it. So it would have been a good chance that they basically missed.
Well, it's funny you say that, because there is a Super Mario cereal coming out in the US, which is essentially Lucky Charms, but shit, you can, scan an amiibo code on that, so I don't know, take your Switch into the supermarket, just, run it along the cereal aisle, boom, there you go.
Yeah, although unfortunately that's not quite how the amiibos work in Super Mario Odyssey, but
whatever. This movie makes me want to visit a traditional Japanese bathhouse, just because of how lush and comfy everything is.
Definitely, although I think I would probably skip visiting this particular bathhouse because
a
lot of the... you've got this gentleman here who would not like to be that close to, but most of the male servants in this place are frogs, and I... am slightly frog-phobic, so I think I'd be freaking out most of the time here.
He's following us, isn't it? Yep, he's following us.
Yes, the Radish Spirit, or Oshira-sama, the Great White Lord.
I hope we're going to get a lot of spirit trivia in this commentary, mate. You did it for Okami, but I'm going to need you to bring your A-game here as well.
I will certainly do my best. At the minute, it's mostly going to be voice actor trivia. For example, Mr. Radish Spirit here has done various voices throughout the years. He's mostly done, I think, games and stuff. So, in Final Fantasy 15, he's the voice of Sid. He is the narrator in Killer 7. He's done a few voices in Ratchet & Clank stuff. I think he was the mayor in the original Ratchet & Clank, Abner Buckwash. He's done loads of additional voices for things throughout animated films. So he's the monkey in Sylvester in Tarzan. He's the voice of Thud in A Bug's Life.
Huh.
And he's also in quite a few Disney movies as additional voice and so on and so forth.
It's weird. I don't recall the Radish Spirit ever speaking, just making sounds like that. They could have just got D. Bradley Baker for him.
Yeah, they could have also just gotten one of the other people that they've got in the cast to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's quite simple. But obviously, Disney like to use actors for this sort of thing, and sometimes, you just get to do a bit of and get paid for it. And really, that's quite easy, so I'll take that.
Stuck up radish nipples.
I didn't really need to see a radish nipple, but okay, we can now say that we've seen radish nipples.
I do like how the hair on him kind of resembles the hair on an actual radish as well. Nice attention to detail.
Well, he'd be a pretty rubbish radish spirit if he didn't actually look like a radish.
Oh, NTom, you always say the most insightful things. Jesus, okay, yeah, I ain't going in there. This is my stop. See ya! Alright, Chihiro, it's time to shine. Go in there and beg for a job like you've never begged for a job before. And knowing you, probably never begged for a job before.
Probably. She's 10! Seriously, how could you expect a 10-year-old to have begged for a job or know how to beg for a job?
Ugh, tell that to Oliver Twist.
Yes, but Oliver Twist didn't beg for a job.
Don't come at me with your Shakespeare facts, okay? I don't need any of your addendums or anything. I know I'm right.
It's Dickens, god damn it!
I triggered you. Lovely. Oh, it's one of these things. That's so Japanese, with a little bit of a Western, palace flourish.
Yes, and I have the feeling that we're going to get a little bit of magic happening right now.
Whee! Oh, that is an iconic shot.
Oh god, yes.
Enjoy the landing. Oh, it's these things.
I've still never got on what these things are meant to be. Other than, bouncing heads that just go, oi, 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 oi.
Yeah, don't mind us, we'll just be over here.
Next to the large, but still somehow bodily short old lady.
Yeah, this must be the boss of the place. It's the weird juxtaposition, which I think is meant to heavily state that while she looks like a human, she's not human.
Yes, I mean, she is the bathhouse witch, Yubaba. Baba being the bit that means witch, you being the bit that means bathhouse. So it might be Yuba. Not quite sure, but the two combined means bathhouse witch.
I kind of like how the water on her head is sort of like, I think it's one of the Hindi jewels or something. Or the dart.
I'll just have to, yeah, it is very much sort of like that.
Yeah, I'm just going out
I suppose in a way it's also the whole thing of the third eye.
Haha, funny. Alright, give us that voice acting trivia, mate. I'm dying for it.
So, Yubaba here is voiced by Suzanne Plachette, who is not someone who I have necessarily heard of before, although she was the voice of Zira in Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
Oh! Yes, I have heard of her. She was great.
She was also Annie Hayworth in The Birds, which was obviously the Alfred Hitchcock film. So she has been in a few very famous roles. But I would say that those are probably the ones that most people would recognise her from.
Oh, don't forget, keep asking for a job no matter what.
Exactly, and also ask, where's Pat Carroll? Because, I'm sort of expecting her.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing of a slightly larger lady villain that does just put you in mind of Ursula and just go, could we have had Pat Carroll? Because Pat Carroll's amazing and we love her. But Susan Plachette does a phenomenal job in this film. She's brilliant.
That picture on the wall kind of reminds me of Twin Rover a little bit. I think that's what the dot reminded me of.
Perhaps, yes.
You don't remember Twin Rover, Kome and Kokite at all, do you?
No, I do. It's just, I'm just saying, perhaps. Mostly because I want to say that the baby, whose massive foot just kicked through a door there, is voiced by Tara Strong, who's obviously most prolific voice actress ever.
Yeah, let's not go over our roles or we'll be here for the last an hour and 20 minutes of this com, I think.
Pretty much, yes.
Oh, she's a powerful spirit, like, runs the whole bathhouse, has telekinesis, can, like, fly, intimidate, fear powers, I guess.
Doesn't help that she is that very definition of a witch being a bitch.
Well, there's nice and then there's nice. I won't call forcing a child to sign her freedom away all that nice.
No, in fact, I'd say it's pretty awful if you ask me.
And then there's this. What does sen mean in Japanese, mate?
So, sen, I believe, means 1,000. And what's actually interesting is that in terms of the kanji that made up Chihiro's name, they basically pulled out Yubaba pulled out the characters to leave sen on the paper, because Chihiro means like 1,000 fathoms or 1,000 gains or an abundance or a large something, effectively. So when you take out other characters to leave sen, then yes, you just end up with that.
I have voice acting trivia now. The ginger toad at the reception is voiced by Paul Eading, who you may know as Uncle/Grandpa Max from Ben 10, the original. I can't remember which relative status it was. Also, Colonel Campbell from the Metal Gear series.
Ah.
So obviously him, it's great. What species is Lynn meant to be? Because she's human-shaped, but she's got a bit of lizard to her as well.
Honestly, I am not sure. Let's just call her a lumen?
A lumen. Nice.
Because she is mostly a human, but obviously her features are somewhat lizard-like, but she is very much the most human person in this place, other than Chihiro, who is a human.
Also, the lad who helped her to begin with.
Oh yes, him as well. Haku, as we know him.
Oi. Yeah, one's bad enough, I think. I'm gonna give Sen a pass on this one. Yeah, we're bound by the contract as well. She may be a brat to begin with, but this would be, like, a lot to take in. Like, even for myself, honestly, and, granted, I'm not the most fortified of human, like, spiritually or will-wise, but just separated from your loved ones, doesn't have to be your parents, could just be friends even, and like forced to work for your freedom while you look for your loved ones who... Did we mention they were turned into pigs? Yeah, they were turned into pigs.
Yeah, it's not good. And pretty much, yeah, everyone else would be just mortified and terrified in this sort of situation.
Train track.
Of course there's a train track. It's where we're going to use the dope-ass Disney train to progress to the Mystic Tower. Is it the Mystic Tower? I can't even remember anymore.
Jensen's Tower, I think, mate.
Yeah, call it Jens's Tower and be sort of more accurate.
Oh, she probably didn't sleep a wink all night.
Probably not. I mean, would you? Knowing my parents have been turned into massive pigs, I'm all alone in a weird-ass spirit world that doesn't make any sense, and I have now had to sell my name to an evil witch, and I'm now going to have to work for said evil witch. I'm not happy with this outcome, and I'm just going to cry because I don't know what the hell to do.
Interesting. Right, you ready for the iconic uniform, Rich?
Of course I'm ready for the iconic uniform, although we're not quite there yet. We're currently going for the Portal 2 look, and now we're full on uniform.
Nausicaa's got the blue, like, flight suit and whatnot. And also the dress that is blue, not pink.
Yes.
And
yes.
Zen has got the bathhouse, like, work clothes and whatnot.
Yes, and it is just iconic. I mean, something that's actually quite interesting on that is... So... Every summer, Hayao Miyazaki spent his vacation at a mountain cabin with his family and 5 girls who were friends of the family.
Uh-huh.
And the idea for Spirited Away came about when he wanted to make a film for these friends.
Oh.
Obviously, Miyazaki had previously directed films for small children, a la Totoro, and teenagers, a la... It says Kiki's Delivery Service here. I wouldn't exactly call that a teenager's film, but we'll go with it.
12 and up, I'd say.
Yeah, but he hadn't created a film for 10-year-old girls, so he sort of missed out an age range in there. So for inspiration, he read shoujo manga magazines like Nakayoshi and Ribbon, and that the girls had left at the cabin, but felt that they only offered subjects on crushes and romance. And when looking at his young friends, Miyazaki felt this was not what they held dear in their hearts, and so decided to produce the film about a girl heroine that they could look up to instead.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very noble reason to create this film. But when he was actually dealing with Chihiro, or Sen as we are now forced to call her, he didn't want to make her a pretty girl, because obviously so many pieces of literature, whether written or drawn or filmed, you have pretty girls. Those are your primary female protagonists, because there is a sort of desire that everyone should be beautiful. But Miyazaki has said, and gone on record as saying, I created a heroine who is an ordinary girl, someone with whom the audience can sympathise. It's not a story in which the characters grow up, but a story in which they draw on something already inside them, brought out by the particular circumstances. I want my young friends to live like that, and I think they too have such a wish.
Well, did you mean grow up physically? Because I had the whole spiel at the beginning, and I feel I was right in that assessment, honestly.
I think so, yes. It's... Yeah. But the other thing is that at the beginning of the process, I think Miyazaki was very frustrated at how she looked dull, I think, at the time. And was thinking, she isn't cute. Isn't there something we can do? But I think what's quite interesting is that then as they worked on the film and process led them through the narrative towards the end of the film, she transformed from being a sort of dull girl into being a charming young woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obviously the whole thing of the emotional growing up. And she effectively grows into her looks, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which is actually very often the case for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when you're younger, you've got features where you're just like, that just looks ridiculous. But as you grow up and grow older, your body begins to make certain aspects of you look a lot more in proportion and more natural, and you grow into your features.
Donuts. My favourite classic Japanese food.
I'm
I'm sorry. Low-hanging fruit of jokes, I know, but I couldn't. I had to do it to him.
It's like the one thing that most people would do.
Oh, God. Even though, like, it's right and it's probably healthy, I want it. I want it now.
I'm kind of alright, but that's just because I don't like rice.
You ever cry 8 before?
Yes, although I don't think I've cried tears that were quite so physically large.
Yeah,
I
Jesus.
think I would have been quite concerned had that occurred. But I've definitely cried like that, and I've definitely probably been crying whilst I've eaten because, you shovel food into your face when you're upset quite often. It's called comfort eating.
Yes, it is. What's your favourite comfort food, mate?
Ooh, depends on the situation, but chocolate is always a good shout.
Oh, yeah.
And ice cream is the other good shout. Basically, I fall into the category of every dumped girl in existence, because that's basically the stereotypical female dump who's just been dumped stereotype food.
Yeah.
But who cares? It's good, and it makes you feel happy, so that's good.
Crisp, for me. I'm a fiend for those fried potatoes. Please stop following me. You are very off-putting.
Well, that's sort of his entire point. But also, he's iconic, so no, he cannot leave.
The Academy loved me. I'm going to stalk you no matter what. Oh, he's not such a bad abomination after all.
Of course not. He's very much grandfatherly in that respect, and it's so adorable.
I wonder if this will affect, like, sales at the bathhouse, if you can even call them sales, because why go to a place to get soaked when you could just stand outside?
It's true, but it's a different type of water. When you stood out in the rain, it's cold and miserable, and you just sit there and, well, you don't sit there because that would be daft, but you stand there and just go, I wish I was inside right now. Whereas if you're at a bathhouse, you're choosing to go into said water, and it's generally warm and smells nice, and so it's just generally okay.
Oh, are you done? Sorry, I was just waiting for you to finish that.
Yeah, that is basically me done. And also, I'm looking at that town and thinking, that basically looks like how water reacts in space. It just sort of attaches itself to the cloth.
Well, we'll call it spirit water for now. No, not the kind from Avatar The Last Airbender. I had a point. Here it comes. Oh, it's coming. You can't stop it. What I liked about Spirit of the Whale art is that it gives you the bathhouse, but you also get to see behind the scenes of the bathhouse. There's that fucker again. And you get to see all the intricacies and, like, the employees, bopping about, doing their own thing. I don't know. That was always just very appealing to me. It showed the working people.
Oh, definitely. And I think the reason that it works is because it makes the bathhouse much more than just a location. It makes it a living, breathing workplace.
Yeah, central hub.
Yeah. So, in a way, the bathhouse effectively becomes its sort of own character in the world, because it's such a focal point of the film, and we do spend a lot of time here. And yes, oh no, that is nasty.
I guess they're getting the bum jobs, or at least the jobs no one wanted to take, just taking advantage of the fact that we've got a human working here. A little bit of racism going on.
Yeah, very much.
Ew. Oh, I love Susan Egan. She's so great.
I know, she's got the perfect voice for sarcasm, and it's just one of those voices where you hear it and you just go, yes! I don't care what you're saying, but yes! Just slay! Slay! Because that's a word that people use these days.
Okay, well, you saved it at the end there. I have to say, though, I was preparing to record this commentary, and for whatever reason, my mind put in the idea that Lynn was voiced by Nicole Sullivan, who you may know as the voice of Shigo in Kim Possible. Because they kind of have very similar timbres and tones to Susan Egan and Nicole Sullivan.
Yes.
I don't know, that's just me. Oh god. Here comes trouble / dirt.
Yes, here comes a lot of trouble / I mean, oh god. Tom, do you want to throw a Pokeball at it? I think it's like a massive walking muck.
Yeah. No, it's a UK Grimer. We've got our own regional variants.
Yes. Although, actually, wouldn't this be more of an American Grimer? American muck. Because it's probably got like a bit more oil in it and just generally more unpleasant.
I'm here. I'm playing tricks. Oh, I'm a naughty spirit who definitely won't eat everyone you love. That's another thing I liked as well, the different types of, water and, bath salts and whatnot they use. Just the whole system of the bathhouse was really appealing to me. It's probably my OCD speaking, but I don't know. I just love that sort of intricacy in, media. There you go.
Fingers crossed this cleans the bloody thing out, because, oh boy, it did not look pleasant in there.
I think we've all had to let a plate soak like this, especially after Christmas dinner, because, oh boy, yeah, there's loads of good stuff on there, but everyone forgets the clean-up duty.
Yeah, it's the one annoying thing of Christmas Day and Boxing Day, is you have such a wonderful meal, and then you go, oh, crap, I've got to do the washing up. Thankfully, obviously, if you have a dishwasher, that does help, but often you have too many plates to be able to put in the dishwasher, so you have to do washing up anyway, and yeah, it's just like, oh, for God's sake.
Well, we have a dishwasher in our house. It's called me, because, why not? I've said before that I find it therapeutic, so I might as well be the one who takes care of it. Although, I'm not sure if I mentioned this last time, I don't do glass, I don't do nat glass, I don't do nat plastic, okay? I'm just not keen on that sort of stuff.
Well, thank you kindly for nicking that for us, but I don't know whether we can actually use them?
That's unsettling. Not even words, just murmurs.
Well, it's the huh, 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 huh. Yeah, it's super creepy, and the voice behind that super creepiness is Bob Bergen, the current voice of Porky Pig and Tweety Bird.
Interesting.
He also is the former host of Jep, which is a kid's version of Jeopardy. He has also done a variety of voices in anime and films and stuff. So he is the voice of the father in the English version of Ponyo.
Oh.
He is Snipes in Tarzan. He is the voice of Lupin III in the MGM version of The Castle of Cagliostro. He voices Masaru and Kaisuke and Mitsuru Kuwata and many others in Akira. He is the voice of Comet the Reindeer in Santa Claus 2 and the Santa Claus 3 The Escape Clause.
Huh.
And he's also been, for the most part, the video game voice actor for Luke Skywalker in many Star Wars games.
Oh my god. Not dying, but still want business. Oh. Poor Sen with her human senses being completely overwhelmed by this.
Well, you say with her human senses, theoretically Yubaba might have a stronger sense of smell, in which point, hoo-hoo-hoo! I mean, with that nose, I would not be surprised.
Well, yeah, but that would mean she's designed to take more. Sen is just a mere human, not even a fully developed one. And, yeah, let's just say this isn't going to be pleasant for any kind of entity involved. Oh my god, he's got pustules and whatnot.
Oh, it's just disgusting. It sort of makes you want to slightly vomit, if I'm honest.
Don't know if I'd go that far, because if you imagine hard enough, he's just made out of chocolate pudding. Oh my god. He's so bad. He stinks so much that the food dissolved. Oh, well, just get in this goddamn thing and let's get you clean, Mr. Man.
Yeah.
There you go. What if he's just like that normally? What if we can't get this guy clean?
Well, then it's going to be a very depressing day for everybody involved.
Oh, he expected, like, that to work and it's not working. More! Give me more!
I need to be washed clean.
One of Sen's great labours, I think.
Definitely. I feel so sorry for Sen during this.
Do me a solid, mate. Look up the voice cast and just confirm that Paul Eading's on there, because now I'm paranoid.
Paul Eading's definitely on there as Chiyaku. I don't know whether it's this gentleman, because I believe that this might be Annie Yaku, the assistant manager, who is voiced by John Ratzenberger. Although, either way, both of them are in the film, so it doesn't necessarily really matter.
Dodged a bullet there. I'm slowly coming over, Stink Spirit. We'll get you clean if my name isn't Sen, which it's not.
Even if I have to take 1,000 steps, I will make you clean again.
See, now we see it from this angle, he's kind of sympathetic. Like, I want this guy to be clean, even if he spreads fart gas everywhere.
It's like dumpster diving, except so much worse.
No, this is dumpster diving on another level. This is sewage diving. Well, that's gotta not smell nice, or taste nice even.
It just be generally awful.
See, he's a nice guy. Stopped her from drowning and whatnot. Hang on, what's going on here? He has a thorn in his side.
Well, it seems a little bit more complicated than a thorn, but it's certainly not going to be pleasant. And it definitely needs to come out because that's gotta hurt.
See? The main character said it's a thorn, although it looks more like a bicycle handle, so let's both say we're right on this one.
Yeah, it's like a thorn in its side, but it's very much more likely to be a bicycle.
Rope kinesis. I think, is the term for this, whatever it's called. This is the real superpower of bathhouse teamwork.
This is what everybody needs to do when you're in this sort of situation. Come together as a team to yank a bike out of a spirit that is basically just filled with sewage.
I ain't cleaning all this up, by the way. You can get your, like, fan dryers out and whatnot, and boom, there you go. It's out! Keep pulling. I don't think that's the only thing in there.
No, I think there's more than a bike in there.
Once again, I ain't cleaning this mess up.
Definitely not. And part of me's thinking, where the hell did that all come from? Did he vomit that up? Or did it just sort of come out of a hole in his side, like some sort of weird-ass cyst or something?
Creepy.
Very creepy.
Oh, he was nice all along. That's what I get for profiling, I think.
It's definitely what you get for profiling, and not quite sure what that is. It looks distinctly unpleasant, but hey, it came from a sort of nice elderly old man voice coming out of a mask type thing that looked like it wanted to kill me. But I'm sure it's perfectly acceptable, and oh look, it's gold!
Gold! Oh, I love gold! He's more than just the face, then? Interesting.
Yes, he is a river spirit.
Ghibli, with its subtle environmentalism. Done very subtly in this movie, but it's there.
Yeah, it's much more subtle in this film than it is in anything else.
We saw him earlier in the movie when Sen was coming back from being consoled by Haku. I never noticed that before.
Ah, see, stuff ties together.
Yeah, we're getting drunk, but not for you, Sen. You're too young. It's not filled with, like, insects and whatnot, is it? Probably, knowing the spirit world.
Yeah, but everyone else seems to be eating it, so I'm sure it's completely edible. In the meantime, did you want a little bit of architecture trivia?
Yes!
So, Miyazaki based some of the buildings in the spirit world on the buildings in the real-life Edo Tokyo open-air architectural museum in Kogane, Tokyo, Japan. It's a museum that he often visited for inspiration while working on the film. And Miyazaki had always been interested in the pseudo-Western style buildings from the Meiji period that were available there. The museum made Miyazaki feel nostalgic, especially this being a quote of Miyazaki's, especially when I stand here alone in the evening, near closing time, and the sun is setting, tears well up in my eyes.
Aww.
Another major inspiration was the Notoya Ryokan, a traditional Japanese inn located in Yamagata Prefecture, which is famous for its exquisite architecture and ornamental features. And apparently, while some guidebooks and articles claim that old gold town of Jufen in Taiwan served as an inspirational model for the film, Miyazaki's denied that. Another place that is often said to be a key inspiration for Spirited Away, mostly for the onsen/bathhouse, is the Dogo Onsen, which is a hot spring in the city of Matsuyama, Ehime Prefecture, on the island of Shikoku, Japan. And actually looking at the outside of Dogo Onsen, Honkan, it definitely does remind me of the bathhouse.
Ah, but you see, I have gold. I will stay, yes? Beware of spirits giving away gold willy-nilly. I think the running theme of the movie is greed does not pay.
Pretty much. And I believe that this froggy right here, I believe it's, his name is Bandai Geru, or the foreman. And, I mean, I know he's just got eaten, but his voice actor is Roger Bumpass, who is best known for being the voice of Squidward Tentacles on SpongeBob SquarePants. And that's super creepy that he has now nicked the frog's voice.
Yeah. Which one is it, though? Which pair?
I mean, you'd hope that instinctively you'd know, but none of them look vaguely mum and dad-ish, so better steer clear of that one.
It would be kind of weird if they kept their own faces, but the rest of them was pigs.
Would be slightly creepy, but then it would certainly help in identifying them. And I like how nobody woke her up. They just thought, she's been through a lot, let's just give her a little bit of a break. Why not?
Well, that's the positive way of looking at it, and not the, it's a human, whatever. Although the actual reason was it was an emergency special guest that they had to attend to.
Yeah, but then you would have thought, let's get the girl who actually managed to help us all out with the last guest who was insane.
This Ghibli food is not helping my fasting.
Tom, you're just not going to get very far because there's just going to be so much food throughout the next batch of Ghibli films that, I mean, this is probably the most food that you're ever going to see in a Ghibli film. But it's excessive, but there's still a lot of Ghibli food to go.
Well, no, I'm not having any snacks or whatnot, apart from mince pies, I guess, until the 24th. I'm sticking to that.
Well, you've certainly got stronger willpower than I have, because I am going to continue eating chocolate from my advent calendar, and the advent calendar at work.
I'm having my advent calendar, don't worry about
that. That is good, but I have 2 advent calendars, one at home and one at work.
Oh, the movie we're covering on December 24th, when my fasting should end, is Howl's Moving Castle. How about that?
That makes me super happy, because House Moving Castle is amazing, and that also does have some rather delicious looking food in it, so...
Oh, the movie that releases on Christmas Day is Tales from Earthsea. Merry Christmas, fuckers!
Merry Christmas with the Black Cauldron of the Ghibli franchise.
Christ. Oh my god, it's not just the bathhouse that's aesthetic, it's all these kind of scenes as well, the stuff surrounding it.
Oh god, yes. I think there was potentially more scenes like that throughout the film, but obviously they cut it out, and I feel so sorry for this dragon. It keeps getting attacked, and it looks really cool.
I think you meant to say painful.
Yes.
No, it looks more like paper cutouts to me.
And it looks like he's bleeding, and that's definitely not good.
What's the deal with the dragons in Breath of the Wild? I've seen a couple floating around and I have no idea what they're all about.
They're an interesting one, those dragons. So they turn up in 3 very specific locations. And you can...
Non-spoilers if possible, please.
Well, basically, what you do with them is if you can hit them in specific parts, then you can get items from them. Items which will prove very useful in upgrading certain things.
Okay, cool. Gives me a reason to hunt about. It was just like, I was travelling along a mountain and something caught the corner of my eye, and I was like, oh my god, that's in a Zelda game?
Oh yeah, I mean, when you're hunting them down to get these things, it's a little bit less fun because you end up having to wait for a specific time of the day to pull it off, and you generally don't have a lot of time in order to pull off the maneuver that you need to in order to hit them where you want to in order to get the items that you need. But it's quite cool when you're just really close to them and you just experience it, just like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Just exploring the world of Breath of the Wild is, I would say ironically, but it's taken my breath away. Just like the wide open vistas, the snowy mountains, the harsh desert. It's, I look forward to the live playthrough sometime in 2018, that's all I'm saying.
That will be particularly amazing. Although I'd be very intrigued to see exactly how you go about doing said playthrough, because obviously the game is so open that really you've got so much choice as to how you route it.
Well, I just include like one objective in each part at least, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably the way forward.
Everyone wants gold, but they don't know what the end result will be.
I have to say that reaction to blood very much reminds me of 2319 from Monsters Inc. Although perhaps that was a slightly less excitable reaction to a situation like that.
Ah, yeah, good point. And we did have John Ratzenberger doing a little song and a dance back there, so...
Exactly, and also look! No Face is giving her loads of gold because he's really nice.
She just wants to cure the dragon.
Yeah, these folks are super greedy, and just look at how sad that face is. It's just like, my heart is broken.
That's John Ratzenberger's character, so I assume the ginger one is poor leading.
Yes, I would think so. You see, this is what happens when you have multiple characters whose names end in Yaku.
Oh my god!
And this is why you do not feed the slightly creepy thing that you've brought into your bathhouse like that, just because he gives you gold.
What the creepiest thing is, they're not, like, dead or anything, they're just in there.
Yeah, it's kind of super creepy. It's like Froggy in Perfect Chaos. Is it Perfect Chaos or Chaos 6?
It was Chaos 6, mate.
It's Chaos 6. You see, never played Sonic Adventure 1, so these things don't necessarily stick in my head.
There you go. Take matters into your own hands. If I had to do something like this, I'd probably let No Face or whatever eat me, because I sure shit I'm not pulling off this Prince of Persia maneuver.
I don't think many people would manage to pull off that Prince of Persia maneuver, because I think most people would probably break that before they even got halfway down.
Yeah, well, we can't all be petite 10-year-old girls, mate, I'm sorry.
Exactly. Is it really bad that I'm looking at this ladder and my brain automatically goes to the meme of Snake Eater?
No, because I was about to do a thing where I went, Spirit Eater!
Oh, we're such geeks, aren't we?
Well, yes we are. I don't have any comeback to that. Alright, Madam's back, so we gotta be extra careful now. There you go.
Yeah, just a little bit of a careful positioning with the butt smash. You can get through anything, although it does help if you've got a paper spirit thingy that helps out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a giant baby, wasn't there? We haven't seen a lot of him so far.
Yeah, this looks very padded. Hope there's not the giant baby in here, because otherwise we might be in a bit of trouble.
Oh, right. I thought you meant padding as in artificially lengthening the movie, but no, you just meant the room is padded.
Yeah, it's like a full-on padded room.
So matter of fact and routine about it, like this is a regular thing.
I'm sure loads of people get eaten at this place. I mean, why wouldn't they? It's a crazy bathhouse run by an evil witch. Makes sense.
I think you're being very racist against spirits here, mate. Not all of them eat people.
Not all of them eat people, but we are witnessing one who enslaves people by stealing their names. And that's certainly not pleasant. And then we don't really know the full-on nature of some of our other friends in this place, because, like, we're really not sure what Lynn is.
Like all these secondary characters, well, I guess third tier characters and whatnot, just the workers, they're not really developed all that much beyond Lynn. But I think that actually works in a movie that's meant to be all about, like, the other side, spirits and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I mean, they are just the characters other than Lynn and Kamaji, the boiler wizard. Yeah, they need a bit of development because they are involved so much in what happens to Chihiro. Sen, I'm going to call her Chihiro, I don't care, that is her name. But the rest of them just do not matter at all, and so they just get to be bit parts.
Oh. Did his mother turn him into a germaphobe?
Well, when you're kept in a padded room and told you can't go outside because things will kill you, yeah, you're going to turn into a bit of a germaphobe. You're going to shut down everything and not really be able to get out of that situation quite easily.
Wow. Very blunt. Oh, jeez, blunt and to the point, maybe even a little bit psychopathic.
Well, it's the baby of Yubaba, so the baby is going to be slightly crazy.
It's the baby, gonna kill you! Caca.
It's moments like these where you think, where the hell did Yubaba go that she doesn't realise that this is happening?
Well, she went downstairs to deal with the no-face. Aren't you paying attention to the movie, XGamerRichy, if that is your real username?
Yeah, no, you see, I have magically been replaced by Zed film watcher Bob.
Shut up! Jesus! I'm trying to think of what other voice Tara Strong's baby voice is putting me in mind of. It's not quite Bubbles.
Oh yes! It is something that kind of blows your mind.
Isn't she downstairs right now?
Yes, but this seems like a very different type of person, because, you know, she's turning the baby into a fat mouse rat thing.
Aww. Oh, that's terrifying.
Very terrifying.
That's very weird, considering how she acts when we see her later in the movie.
Yeah, but then she doesn't necessarily know much about Chihiro and Haku, because obviously... Yes, Haku nicked a solid gold seal. Steel. Oh my god. My brain is frying. Yes, he's nicked her solid gold seal, and she's not very happy about that, so of course she's just being very grumpy.
Yeah, so all the paper, cutouts were her doing, obviously.
Yes. And it's not that she's a bad person, it's just that, she's trying to defend her crap.
It's probably going to get someone's attention downstairs.
Probably? Ooh, sister! So basically we now have the whole relationship between Yubaba and this other witch. They are sisters.
There you go. Oh, she said twin before, long before you brought it up, mate. Again, pay attention.
True. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do trivia every now and again. It gets a bit difficult.
I sass you a lot, but you know I love you.
Yeah, you damn well better.
Interesting. God, it's amazing he can even, keep his eyes open when he's losing blood like that.
Well, yeah, but he's like a super dragon, and that just looks awesome.
It's got a little bit of a wolf design to him, does this Eastern Dragon?
Yeah. But he has got the general hallmarks of the Eastern Dragon. In obviously the massive long whiskers and the long serpentine body. That's... If ever you're looking for whether a dragon is Eastern influenced or Western influenced, that's pretty much your key. If it's serpentine, it's most likely Eastern influenced. If it's of that more stocky, 4 legs, 2 massive wings, and a bulky body, that's much more Western influenced.
Come on, stop being stubborn. You can swallow this at least. Turns out it was just a big ball of wasabi. I'd react like that as well.
I think most people would.
Interesting how it's medicine from the river spirit, by the way.
Oh, definitely.
There you go. Getting Fern Gully flashbacks for some reason.
Yeah, although that thing is just ultra cute. Although I have the feeling this is going to end really badly.
Well, he's the one who was poisoning the dragon, so there you go.
Well, no, I mean more that. She's just squashed it with her foot and just... Oh! You see, this is why I have slight phobia of frogs. Because when I'm... Well, the few occasions where I have come across frogs, they have been dangerously close to my feet, and I've always been terrified of, I think, treading on a frog, and then the feeling of it squashing, and it just... I think it's because of that whole issue that I had previously with a fish jumping out of a tank.
Yes, you told the story.
That story of the fish shop. And yeah, ever since then, freaks me out. So that sort of squishing just... sends me right off anything.
Oh, man. We'll laugh about this one tomorrow, but for now I'm gonna sleep this off. Ugh, wipe the blood off the walls, jeez.
Would probably be a good idea, because I don't think the people in this bathhouse will really appreciate getting things in their water that have been that close to blood. I have no idea how the mini Yubaba bird, as the tiny mini bird, has enough strength to carry the big baby now mouse.
They're the closest things to comedy relief in the movie, I've noticed.
Oh yeah, I think it's probably because you've gotten this far into the film and it has been pretty serious in the grand scheme of things. There haven't really been that many moments of levity outside of moments of non-depressiveness. So I think you reach this point, you just sort of need that slight lift in humour to give you the hope that we can reach a happy ending, because Chihiro has spent most of the film being hopeless, thinking, I'm stuck here, my parents are gone forever, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. But now that there's a bit of humour, a bit of levity, there is a glimpse that things could be okay as she develops and matures and begins to take control of her life a bit more. And I think that works out quite nicely.
Whoops.
Well, it was raining, and he seemed nice at the time. Bit creepy, but he seemed okay.
So is he like a vampire then? Like, he can only come in if he's invited?
It seems like that is the case, yes.
Oh.
Oh, you see, I told you that Kamaji had that proper grandfatherliness to him.
Bet it'll be aesthetic as fuck as well.
It will be, but also it means that we get a little chance to have a bit of Stand By Me going on.
Bads. He's just gonna keep eating and eating and getting bigger and bigger, and why the fuck did I have to start my fasting today?
You see, Tom, you really didn't think this through.
Me want sen! Me wanty sen! How much abuse does, like, one bathhouse have to take before you just kick the person out and call it a day, really?
Well, most normal bathhouses, well, I don't know about bathhouses, but most normal businesses would have reached this point and gone, we're getting the police involved, mate, because that's clearly out of order, but obviously we're in the spirit world, so that doesn't quite necessarily happen.
Oh.
I know she's just rejected her own kid and ally, and they're just like, oh, well, that's nice of you. But yes, most places would have kicked him out by now, but he seems slightly more powerful than anybody else here, so it's not like they can kick him out even if they wanted to.
Jesus. It's roughly about now in any other, like, game that a friggin' boss subtitle and a health bar would appear.
Pretty much. I mean, if you were going to turn Spirited Away into a video game, which would be a terrible idea, because it's not got the story structure to make that work, this would be a boss fight.
I think this just shows her, like, growth arc thus far. If it was the beginning of the film and she encountered this guy, she'd just be cowering.
Yeah, she would have noped out of this place faster than you can say No Face.
No face. Faster than that, even. Oh. Well, that doesn't give you the excuse to eat everyone and, just be a general asshole to the employees of this place. Huh. What effect will that have on someone who was already a spirit to begin with, though?
I don't know. I mean, it seemed to help Haku, but it's probably not going to help this guy very much. And it definitely doesn't seem to be doing very well for him. He's going to be vomiting up all sorts.
Y'all ready for one hell of an action set piece?
Oh god, yeah. I call this piece the Chase of Karonashi, which is no faces Japanese name, which literally just means faceless, but who cares? Sounds cool.
You had a good thing going there until you actually gave me some context. Check this shit out, by the way. Hadouken! Nah, get that weak shit out. I'm good.
Oh, that makes me happy.
So I guess you were right, like, even Barber isn't powerful enough to take on this guy.
Pretty much, and that's why they couldn't get rid of him, because if Yubaba was powerful enough to get rid of him, then she would have done so already, but she's not, and therefore they had to kind of just make the best of it and try and please him so that he would leave, but clearly he's not that type of spirit.
Yeah, just leaving bits and pieces of himself behind as he goes.
Yeah, thank God Chihiro is leaving this place after this to go on the train, because I definitely would not like to be left here to tidy this place up, because that's definitely what Yubaba would make her do.
Oh, thank God these cherished and well-developed characters are safe. I'm coming! I'm slowly coming!
I think he's still got one more to throw up before he's done.
Oh, God. Oh, no, I'm coming for it. Yeah, what an odd-looking boat.
It's a bathtub boat. Have you not seen Tales of Symphonia? They use one of these in that as well.
No, I have not.
You should. It's quite an enjoyable game. I did a playthrough on it, and it was easily the longest playthrough that I've ever done.
I'm not watching your channel, mate. I mean, other people should, but I already run an LP channel. I like stuff distinctly different from the content I create, thank you very much.
Ah, god damn you.
Sadly, Slippy lives.
Yeah, which really sucks because Slippy is really annoying. And yes, we are currently in the sequence where you just need to hear the "When the night has come, when the land is dark," and so on and so forth.
Well, you could have Stand By Me, or you could have Last Train Home from JoJo.
I'd rather go for Stand By Me. Particularly the version done by Florence and the Machine for Final Fantasy XV, because that was beautiful.
I'll have to listen to that after we're done here, but now we come to probably an even more iconic scene than just the whole of the bathhouse scenes put together. The train scene.
Oh, yes. I really do strongly suspect that this train scene influenced a lot of sequences after this film came out in 2001. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 2 in particular, I look at the train in that and just think, yep, I know what you were influenced by.
Interesting how we don't see his face.
do we really need to? He's a spirit.
I'm just saying, man. The juxtaposition of humans versus spirits and whatnot. See, they're human-shaped. They're just shadows. What does that say?
They are spirits. Probably more likely to be human spirits than yokai or that sort of deal, which seems to be what a lot of the creatures around the bathhouse were.
I'm getting chills. I love this bit of the movie.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's amazing how they took something as mundane as a train ride and just made it so, I wouldn't say emotional. Emotional? That's not a word. Actually, yeah, they made it emotional. It's moving, it's stirring.
Yeah, it's just incredibly poignant, which I think is the term that you were looking for.
Yes.
I am totally down with emotionable as a new made-up word. It sounds lovely and right, even though it makes no sense whatsoever.
I want to live in that house. It looks so picturesque.
It looks so picturesque, but I wouldn't like to live there because it's on an island. How the hell would you get anywhere? What about eating and food? It seems like a really bad place to decide to put down your roots. Unless you have a boat, that would help.
Sometimes, mate, you just gotta sacrifice everything for the aesthetic, you know?
Well, it's certainly one reason to say that you're style over substance, eh?
I want to know about these, like, faded spirits. Like, the world of Spirited Away is so interesting.
I think that the reason that the world of Spirited Away is so interesting is because they do reveal so little about it.
Yeah, and it works in this instance, I think.
Yeah, because I suppose it links into the whole explaining the monster trope. What often happens in horror films is you've got this monster that's hidden from camera for so much of the film, and it's terrifying. But then the second you see the monster, the mystery is sapped away and suddenly it becomes a lot less scary.
Mm-hmm.
In that same vein, you can end up in a world that has a lot of mystery and intrigue in it. The second you start to over-explain it, some of that mystery and magic goes, and it becomes less interesting. In some instances that doesn't happen. I mean, I'd say that J.K. Rowling's done a very good job of continuing to add a lot of detail to the Wizarding World that she's created, and hasn't managed to bore the overall fan base yet.
Well.
But it's, well, for some people, obviously, Cursed Child is something that is up for debate for a lot of people.
It's schlock is what it is.
Yes, but if you look at Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and the narrative that that's setting up, that's expanding the world but making it new and fresh, and you're learning still more, but it's not causing problems. So there is a very fine balance to create. I mean, I'd say that the world of Lord of the Rings is a very good example of a world that is very well thought through, and while there is a lot of information out there in terms of the history of the world, a lot of it is not told. And it does help it because just that mystery and intrigue leads you to a much more mysterious world that does just become much more enjoyable.
Since now, bitch. Wait a minute, this gold isn't gold?
Yeah, it's totally fake.
Haku knows, but Haku ain't telling.
Yeah, Haku's just like, you're gonna regret that.
And the gold isn't the only thing that's fake. She has every right to freak out about this, I think. Totally justified.
Yeah, her baby's just been kidnapped, every right to freak out, but then she is a complete witch, and the gold is completely fake, so she really deserves it.
Now we get to see the scary side of Barber. Just give it a second. Proper Eastern witch, let's go.
Well, he didn't actually do anything. It was somebody else.
I always found this, like, turn and walk away scene to be kind of funny for some reason. Just how, like, blown the fuck out she is. And yeah, Sen has gone with the baby and the little mini her eagle, whatever, to Zinaba's place.
Well, Zeniba.
Thank you.
And also, just because I have the feeling that you've been calling this elderly bathhouse witch Barber, it's you, Barber.
That's just nitpicking, I think.
It's her name!
I don't give a fuck!
The dress is blue, Tom!
My name's Thomas, but you call me Tom all the time, so shut up.
You see, that is because that is a nickname of sorts. / it's the name that you generally would to be called. Whereas, in my situation, on the internet I go by Richie, but in real life it's Richard.
There you go. Stop. It's a good name. It's a good name.
Yes, it's a good, strong name, unfortunately associated with 3 very controversial kings in British history.
Ain't nothing like a strong, hard dick, you know what I'm saying? You set yourself up for that one, I'm sorry. Alright, back to the beautifulness of Swamp Bottom. It looks like a lonely place, but it's one of the coziest environments in the film.
Yeah, it's got that cozy aesthetic, has it not, Tom?
Yeah, you can't shame me by using my word against me. I am unshameable. Aww.
I mean, it's a surprise little birdie man's been birdie woman, I suppose, because it was a mini Yubaba, managed to fly that far with Fat Baby Mouse.
The baby kind of goes through its own growth arc as well, emotionally.
Oh, definitely. I mean, pretty much all of these characters do, because you've got Chihiro going through a character arc, you've got the baby, which I think is called Bo, going through a character arc, you've got No Face going through a character arc, and you've got the birds thing going through a character arc. The jumping hand lamppost doesn't have a character arc, but then it's only in the film for a very short amount of time. I have to say, this is probably the loveliest swamp I have ever visited.
Oh yeah.
And clearly I have visited many swamps in my life.
Yeah, he's a swamp aficionado.
And by many I mean 0.
Huh. I wouldn't expect a witch's door to be adorned by flowers.
Well, depends on the type of witch. Because if you're looking at, even just general witches, a lot of the stuff that they dealt with was in herbs and natural stuff. And it was all to do with using nature to create magic. It's why in some cultures hair is so important in relation to magic. And I think that's part of the reason why Yubaba and Zeniba have so much hair, because it's something that is so commonly associated with witches. It's entirely the reason why in the Bayonetta franchise the witches have battle suits made out of their hair. It's because it's the conduit that they use for their magic.
Ooh. So yeah, Barber. Note the name. Can't control Haku. She can't. Whatever. She can't control Haku anymore.
Exactly. He is now free.
Well, his name is still a mystery right now.
Yeah, but he's half the way there. He's not being controlled by the evil Yubaba.
Yeah, Barber's place is more clits than homeliness. You called her like, well, not her specifically, this character, but you made mention of the whole nature element of good witches, and there was actually a lot of like floral stuff and just like produce as we got into the house.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, if you look around the place, you've got like a loom for creating blankets and stuff, which you would get out of yarn, which you get from obviously like animal fur and so on and so forth. And you've got like tea. Obviously, you use tea leaves, which is another thing that is obviously commonly associated with witches, because tea leaves are a thing that you use to read the future. The thing that I really like is that although Zeniba's name translates to Money Witch, she's very much just a granny, and that's why she does like to be called Granny, and it's just a nice contrast to Yubaba.
I think it's meant to be an ironic name, maybe.
Yeah, because she's very much anti-money, if anything.
Oh. Oh, time to go, I think. Oh, the fields are coming, Richie!
Of course the fields are coming. We're getting very, very close to the end of the film now.
There he is! Oh, majestic!
And looking a lot better, although I'm very concerned about those chicken legs. Because it slightly throws off the beautiful, elegant aesthetic of Haku, but he's still awesome.
Oh.
Oh, it's so cute!
Chew is the sound or the onomatopoeia that rats and mice make in Japan, I think. That's why Pikachu is called Pikachu.
Yes, definitely.
What a marketable name. We'll use it often. I don't want this movie to end, Richie. I've been really enjoying this.
Well, it's because it's such a beautiful film, but it has to end at some point. But before it does end, we've got just a series of really beautiful and, I mean, just, oh my god, it's gorgeous.
Gotta have a flight scene.
Of course you've got to have a flight scene. It's a Miyazaki film, for God's sake.
Oh, there's that water flashback again.
Yeah, it keeps coming back. It's almost like it's very important somehow.
I think she's coming to an understanding.
I think she is.
Think we've cracked it, mate. Think we've cracked it.
I think we have. In the original Japanese, his name was Nigi Hayami Koha Kanushi. So the Haku's still in there, and it's still Kohaku, but it's Kohaku Nushi, and that literally translates to God of the Swift Amber River.
Yep, so, it's funny that medicine from the river spirit helped cure another river spirit.
See, it just works out. It's like poetry, it rhymes.
This is a very iconic scene, and what a pure relationship.
Oh god, yes. And just, oh, that Joe Hisaishi score, it's just, mwah.
It's one of his best, I think, for sure.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, I would still say that I think House Moving Castle is his best, but this is still utterly gorgeous.
I look forward to it then. Alright, time to nut up, find the parents, and go home. And looks like Barb's got everything prepared already. She was ready for this.
Of course she was ready for this, because she was super pissed off.
Well, about that.
No, baby had fun. Baby now knows that you're an awful person. It's going to end well, isn't it?
Sorry, contracts of the sort.
Go, baby! Go, baby! I think the thing that really works about this finale is that obviously at the start of the film, Chihiro was just carrying away, did not want to face anything head on, and now she's just like, you know what, a deal's a deal, bring it. And it's just like, such growth, it's beautiful.
You know, taking responsibility and accepting consequences is a part of growing up. It's a sign of maturity.
Exactly, I mean, there's a lot of growth that's happened here for this 10-year-old. She's going to be mature beyond her years as she grows up. Which may be unfortunate, but still, it's always good to be a little bit more mature than your age, because it means that you're at least aware of things that are going to be happening to you.
Alright, which pigs are they, Chihiro? Pick well. Final answer? Ding ding ding! She loves Sen, really. Just putting up a front right now.
Yeah, she did have a soft spot for her.
Aw, I'm not good with goodbyes, Richie.
Well, tough, you're gonna have to deal with one. Well, yeah, just have to go to the river, duh.
Well, maybe get swimming lessons first, you know?
Yeah, it'd certainly help, wouldn't it?
Oh, this music. Got the biggest smile on my face.
Well, of course, and I mean, just look at this, it's gorgeous!
Well, you'd be surprised, you'd be surprised.
Be very surprised. It's almost like we've been Alice going through Wonderland.
Yeah. Alright, mate, yeah, don't look back. It's like that one alleyway in JoJo Part 4. Had to end it with a motherfucking JoJo reference. Alright, Richie, give me your thoughts on Spirited Away as a whole, mate.
It's a brilliant film, it really is. Fantastic characters, gorgeous music, stunning visuals, a really interesting plot and world. It's got everything that you could possibly want. I think the reason that it doesn't hit my favourite spot is I think there's just something in its construction that doesn't sit 100% with me. I don't really know what it is. I don't think I'd ever be able to explain fully why.
Uh-huh.
But it does just drop a little bit behind House Moving Castle for me. But it's still a phenomenal Ghibli film, and definitely one of the best, if not arguably the best, from a filmmaker's perspective. And so easily gets an A+ from me.
A+ from me as well. It didn't drop or change at all. I will admit, I agree with you, some parts are slower than others, but the overall package, animation, voice cast, story, music, setting, tone, it just all fits together like the world's most beautiful jigsaw, and yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites. Up there, agree with the Fireflies. Better than Nausicaa, etc. I'm so happy I got to do this commentary with you, mate. Oh gosh, I'm gushing now. Well, that'll do it for Spirited Away. Please join us tomorrow where we take a look at a rather short Ghibli film, When the Cat Returns. See you then.